It's time for another food shortage update. Not only going into the holiday season, how it's going to affect your wallet, but most importantly, how it's affecting 2023 and how you need to keep stockpiling your food. So welcome to Everyman Prepping, and let's get on with our first article here, which is 5 food shortages that will impact your wallet this holiday season. Like I said, I see it more as an impact to your food supply and going into next year, but they have a good list here. First one, wheat. They're saying that, the war in Europe there has left many stores struggling to keep flour on the shelves, which is true for Europe and Africa. Wheat's going to be a problem here because of the drought. We talked about this before, the huge drought. And as you can see here, this is South Dakota. They interviewed a farmer and said, a winter wheat farmer, and said, asked him how you're going. You see, the more red, the worse the drought conditions are. So South Dakota, everything's in, this is exceptional drought, so everything's not doing so hot there. But what he said is, all I want for Christmas is some moisture. The winter wheat is struggling. Some fields around haven't even germinated yet. If you haven't germinated yet, you're going to get a late crop. A late crop means poor yields. And poor yields means, well, we run out of food. And it says that they've been digging also, and they said that it's dry all the way down to 6 feet below the surface. So if the soil doesn't hold any moisture, the plant's going to struggle to grow, and you'll get poor growth as well. So we talked about this before, that very easy to store, long-term food storage. I'll put the video I did up in a card above so you can see, but get your wheat berries, get your Mylar bags, option absorbers, buckets, store them, buy them when you can. They'll last 25, 30 years. Get yourself a manual mill, you make your own flour, you're going to be well off. So easy to prepare for this one. I know it's not as easy to just go buying sacks of flour, but hey, you can buy that too. If you find flour that you use, stockpile it up now, and you can Mylar bag seal those as well, and they will last years. I've used 2 or 3 old flour that's just out of a bag, 5-pound bag, and it's great. So get it now so you have it for not only the holidays, for next year though. Moving on, I'm not sure a lot of people have noticed. I think a lot of you have that do your own shopping, but lettuce is in short supply. Restaurants are running out. Just the other day, I tried to get a burrito, and the restaurant owner told me there's no lettuce for it because they can't get it, and it's super expensive right now. So let's see why that is. But this says prices for romaine lettuce and iceberg have jumped nearly 400% since 2019 when that certain thing happened that we were all stuck in our houses. And also, it says here that chains like Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, whatever, they are telling their customers that there's a lettuce shortage and they're going to have to make their meals without it. So what is causing the lettuce shortage? Well, here's the news from this is from San Jose, California. You can see their organic lettuce here. Check that out, $11 a head. Very pricey. Yes, we're in California. But as you can see, it's going to affect everywhere. This is nationwide. The average cost of a head of lettuce, a romaine, is around $2.50. But that's still a 47% jump from October. Also, this is the federal data, which we know it's not real data. Put in the comments below what you're paying for a head of lettuce. Write it down there. Also, hey, if you want to email me, if you have updates around the country, you want to say what the food shortages are, go in your area, or other things, or questions, easy to find me, everymanprepping@gmail.com. So that's just everymanprepping@gmail.com. You can give me information. If you want me, I can talk about it, tell other people what's going on. Also, if you have questions, I can address those as well. So do that. Also, while we're talking about it, please like the video, subscribe, ring that bell, share this with your friends and family. And like I said, leave some comments. And, as we're growing this great community, let's see how fast we can get it growing out there. So what else does it say here? Why is this happening? Well, there's a giant crop disease is ravaging the fields in Salinas Valley, which is the salad bowl of the world, according to this article. And I think that part of California grows most of the romaine and other lettuces that get shipped everywhere around the country. So if they're getting decimated by, remember they had a drought also, which I think caused, these viruses to expand. And also, the pests. So it says causing shortage across the country as farmers and researchers desperately search for a remedy for the insect spread virus. So insects spreading a virus, destroys the lettuce. You don't have it, you can't eat it. Now, to show this is just not a California problem, here's a Brooklyn, New York a grocery store called Ideal, I guess. I don't know anything about it. But they're iceberg lettuce, $7.50. And as we know, iceberg lettuce is not the most nutritious out there. It has a lot of nutrients and all that, but it's good to have some greens. The $7.50 a head is outrageous. Now, one thing you can do to combat this, easy again, If you're anywhere where it doesn't freeze or freeze hard in the country, most of the South, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Southern California, most of California probably, all the way up to Oregon, any state where you don't get hard freezes outdoors, this is a winter vegetable, a winter crop. Plant it, grow it. You can harvest it yourself, share it with your friends and family. Lettuce is super easy to grow. Just make sure there's a lot of nitrogen in the ground. It's a green leafy vegetable. Also, you can grow this indoors. Get a grow light, plant the seeds. You can do it anytime if it's indoors. You just need, a guest bedroom, big closet, basement. Put the grow light up, little seed mat to make it a little warm there. Plant the seeds, and you're going to get plenty of green lettuce coming up. I'll put a link in the description of a grow light that I use that works well, but there's many out there. Just get something that works for you, but you can grow this indoors, have your own vegetable, and you can grow other varieties of, spinach, Swiss chard, something that's a little more greener, has more nutrients instead of iceberg. But it's a way for you to have your own veggies during the wintertime. Moving on, we're going to talk about butter. So it says here, according to the data from the Department of Agriculture, the amount of butter in U.S. storage facility is down 10% month over month. And in August, it was down 22% compared to the same time last year. I don't really have much on what's causing the butter shortage, but I've noticed it. I can't get the butter that I usually buy at Costco. It hasn't been there for about 3 or 4 months. So when I see it at other places, I try to stockpile it. And remember, you can stockpile this in your freezer. Butter freezes amazingly well. So just buy what you can, put it in your freezer. It'll last a year or longer in the freezer and it'll have no problem. So butter is something you can easily store away long term. Next on their list, eggs. I think we've all experienced this. Eggs sometimes are hard to find. Like I said, I've gotten comments and emails from people telling me different parts of the country that they have no eggs, or eggs are super expensive, and we know mostly it's because of the bird flu. There's some YouTube creators out there saying the bird flu is no big deal because we've got millions and millions of chickens out there every year, but it is a big deal to me, I think, because it is hurting not only the population for eating them, but for egg production. You got to grow that chicken for a while, 16, 20 weeks in order for you to get the eggs. So once the flu kills 20 million, you got to raise those without egg production for 4 or 5 weeks. So anyway, I think it's a bigger deal than some people are putting out. But bird flu causes, hatching farms to kill other chickens, no eggs, egg prices go up. It says here egg prices were up 10% in October, the largest monthly increase of any grocery item. By the way, with the CPI, it just came out around 7%. Yeah, just looking at these numbers here, you can see that that's why people call it the CP lie. But the best way to combat the eggs, as I've been talking about, is get your own chickens. If you can have them, if your neighborhood, your HOA, you're in the country, if you can get chickens, they're one of the easiest animals to raise. They don't take much room. If you only have 2 or 3, you can use a doghouse, a little space outside for them, food, water, and a little shelter, and they will just turn out eggs day by day for you. It will slow down the winter because there's less daylight, but that's okay. They'll pick up in the spring. One of the easiest animals to raise, easiest pet to take care of. Get yourself some chickens if you can, if you're like you're allowed to, and you'll wonder why you never did it before. It's one of the greatest things you can do. It's a protein source that just keeps on coming out. Plus, they make great manure for, your lettuce, your planting, other stuff you're growing. And they're great garbage disposals. You give them all your scraps, you turn that, give that to the chickens, they turn that into eggs and poop. You eat the eggs, use the poop, grow more stuff. It's a great cycle. Get some chickens. And I'm going to do 4 and 5 together here because they're saying turkeys. The U.S. turkey numbers were decimated by the bird flu. Turkey's not just because you can have it for your holidays, but, the turkey is for lunch meat, turkey sausage, turkey and a lot of stuff. They put turkey filler in a lot of things, so it's just not about your holiday turkey. But it says retail prices for fresh, boneless, skinless turkey breast reached $6.70 per pound. That's gigantic. In September, up 211% from a year earlier. So let's dig into that a little bit. From successful farming here, we see that the bird flu threat might persist for weeks. This is in December 6th, so this is about Iowa, but it's going to apply mostly a lot of bird flu is all over the country right now, and the world. It's in the UK, it's in EU, it's everywhere. And we're going to see what they blame it on. The fall geese migration is expected to peak this month in Iowa, and the potential to cause further infections of domestic flocks by a highly pathogenic and destructive avian influenza. So it's the dirty wild birds. Remember I said, probably a couple months ago when I did a video that they're going to say we can't hunt anymore because those dirty wild animals are full of bird flu, and you're going to hunt them and spread the disease, bring it home, give it to your birds, or might give it to a flock. Gathering your own food is going to be bad, right? Being self-persistent is going to be bad. And, let's read on here. It says about 20 wild ducks were found to be infected by the virus in November in Iowa, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. These ducks were shot by hunters. Hunters bad. Wild animals bad. Hunting your own food bad. See, bad. Don't listen to them. If you're allowed and you're licensed, go out and get your own food. State agricultural officials have said waterfowl are most likely the drivers of the bird flu infection among domestic flocks and the wild bird migration linked to infections. And it says lastly here, the virus has been most prevalent in South Dakota, where 10 commercial turkey flocks have killed 550,000 birds. So how do you combat this? Well, you have your own chickens, your own turkeys if you want, like I said before. But this is going to cause, high prices in those two areas. And so we see those are the 5 items I talked about. And, we talked about how you can combat some of them and get ready and store it. If you want it, if you have a freeze dryer, you can freeze dry not only eggs, but buy chicken now and freeze dry the meat, turkey and all that stuff. Freeze dryer is great. One of my goals is one day to get my own. I don't have my own. I'd love a Harvest Right ones one day. That's on the to-do list. That's on the bucket list. But they're super expensive, so that's way off in the future at some point. But if you have one, more power to you. You're lucky. Freeze dry away. So what does this lead to? We have food shortages, the inflation, prices going up. Well, one last thing I wanted to talk about here, and that is, let me pull it up here, is probably what we've all seen. This is from Canada. It's going to apply almost everywhere, whether you're in Europe or United States or somewhere else, Australia, doesn't matter. It's shoplifting. Grocery shoplifting is on the rise in Canada amid inflation. It says industry insiders. But there's something else I want to point out here really quick. This is a quote from one of the grocery people. There is a correlation between the two being inflation shortages and the amount of shoplifting going up. He says, so there's been a correlation between the two. Absolutely. Theft is an ongoing issue, but the intensity actually does increase when food prices go up. And he noted that meat and dairy products are the top 2 stolen items. Just as we talked about. We talked about meat, eggs, milk, butter, all that stuff. Those are the 2 items being stolen the most. And then he says, if the economy slows down next year, as some economists suggest, the problem will grow. What I find interesting about this is this article from Canada is actually putting out there that we are probably heading into a recession going in. We're already in one, most of us know, but at least this mainstream media is admitting that we're probably going to go into one. And yeah, shoplifting is going to be worse. You got to watch your back. You got to watch theft, grocery store parking lots. Keep your head on a swivel while you're out there. Okay, one last thing it says here. Theft will cost everyone more because someone has to pay for the stolen food. And by that someone, they mean me and you. We're going to pay for it. So not only inflation is going to raise prices, people stealing the food, grocery stores are going to raise prices even more. And then once you mix in food scarcity and you can't get to it, well, some people are going to try to steal whatever they can, since there's hardly anything left on the shelf. So it's just going to be a snowball effect of prices going up. And that's what we have to look forward to going into the next year. Hope you found this information useful. And if you have any comments below, like I said, or you want to email me about what's going on in your area, shortage you're seeing, things you're doing to combat it, please feel free. We have a growing community that is great at answering questions, giving their own ideas, especially in the UK. We're getting some good response over there to see how things are going across the pond, as they say. So please enjoy your weekend coming up here. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.